Hello, welcome to the Learning Tree Book Club's regular monthly meeting. We read on first Saturdays for 40 minutes, and I'm Meredith Coleman McGee, a book club member, and I'm here in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, good morning. I am Vicki Jenkins, and I am a member of the Community Book Club. And as I say always, reading is fundamental. Thank y'all for coming.
Good morning. My name is Deacon Timothy A. Brown Sr., part of New Rochester International. I'm part of the community library of the club for Ms. McGee. I'm part of the volunteer to help out, learn things about community library book club.
Thank you. And since it's Women's History Month, I picked one of the women in Meredith, etc. She did a book for young adults, Lily Darling, and I'm gonna read some of this. Malasha Smith, and this is a novella, which is a short novel, but it's really historic fiction because some of it is based on true events, but the names and places have been changed to protect uh, the characters of people, innocence of people. Let's say. Now, this is one of the affirmations in the book. Can y'all see that? Y'all see that affirmation? It says, I compare myself only to my higher self. And so the main character in this book dealt with a lot of low self esteem issues. So some of the great things that happened uh, to her character was meeting someone that helped her um, become more sure of herself, worth. Okay, Lily Darling, a novella by Malasha Smith. Now, that's chapter one. I guess I should read that a little bit. Lily Darling is an inspiring story of how Lily Mitchell, a middle schooler, rose from the ashes of self pity to self assurance and became a voice for others. And this is a statistic: 1 in 5 USA school pupils are bullied nationally. Lily, the main character, a Langley middle school student, is subjected to the harmful behavior of bullies. The negative forces of bullies caused Lily to harbor the image of herself in the mirror. Her bus ride to school and her existence on the school landscape. A new girl at school, Jerica, gradually brings balance to Lily's existence by teaching her the principles of positive reaffirmation. One day, Lily pulled Julius, a stranger, from the butt end of a tiger fight in an alleyway. In the end, can Lily and Jericho saved Julius. And that's somewhat of a premise of the whole book, that you have to read the book to unwind. But chapter 1 is don't let them see you cry. Now, I think that's very important in life in general, to keep your feelings to yourself. It takes everything in me not to reach over and hit the snooze button on the alarm clock again as it rings for the second time this morning. But I'm pretty sure I'll be late if I do. So I decide against prolonging the inevitable. I turn on my back and stare at the ceiling. I drift off to sleep momentarily, only to be awakened from the sounds of my own snoring. I shift my body to the left and let my feet hang on the side of my bed. This Monday starts off like any other typical school day as I stand in my closet contemplating what to wear. I don't care how many times I tell myself to pick out my school clothes the night before. I never do. Every school morning, I find myself back in the closet, staring at the same clothes, waiting for an outfit to put itself together. Sometimes I pretend I'm a witch as I twirl and whirl my fingers around, hoping to ignite some deeply buried magical power. My supernatural powers haven't worked yet, but hey, there's no harm in trying. My complicated process of selecting an outfit to wear to school wouldn't be necessary if I lived in a world free from judging. Picking an outfit would be easy if I could pick any old shirt laying around, some jogging pants, and a comfortable pair of slide-ins. The process would be simple and comfortable, just how I like it. The way I see it, school is already hard enough. Going through the pain of trying to find an outfit that makes me look thinner is almost impossible. However, in this day and age, I wouldn't dare be caught wearing the wrong color panties, let alone an entire outfit. I finally go with a pair of stone washed skinny jeans, all gray Converse, complicated by a turquoise Raglan Mickey Mouse top. It isn't my sweats and slide ins, but it will do. Plus, it happens to be my second favorite outfit. I finally go, okay, and then there's a break here, 7:15 a.m. My heart pounds harder than normal as I stare at the digital clock sitting on the nightstand in my bedroom. I search frantically for my book bag and my jacket. It's only after throwing my clothes all over my bedroom floor that I suddenly remember my mom telling me she put them both in her bedroom closet. I had inadvertently left them in her car when she took off work Friday after I pretended to be sick. Although I hate lying to my mom, I just couldn't muster up enough energy to endure another moment at school. It was one of those days when everything seemed to go wrong. Before my feet hit the ground, I was already defeated. Days like that, I wish I could sleep away just to escape the prison inside my head where my thoughts keep me captive. Thoughts that consistently tells me that I'm not good enough and convinces me that my existence isn't important. Maybe it was the stain of that day that caused me to forget where my belongings were. Or maybe it was karma doing what karma does best, biting me in the butt at the most inopportune time for lying to my mom about being sick. Maybe I have time to get to the bus stop before the other students arrive. I run outside with my book bag and jacket in tow. My heart goes from pounding louder than an African tribal drum session to dead silence as my heart stops beating for a moment. I glance at the gathered crowd of students at the bus stop. Everyone is accounted for. And to make things worse, the twins, who rarely ride the bus, are here bright and early this morning. Zoe and Cam are identical twin brother and sister. Cam plays on the junior varsity baseball team. Zoe mostly keeps to herself, usually with a novel of some sort in her hand. They are a year older than me in the eighth grade. Both are pretty cool, but I absolutely hate when they decide to ride the bus instead of getting dropped off by their parents. They only catch the bus on an average about twice a week. And if I'm really lucky, less than that. Obviously, today is not my lucky day. The twins and I have never had any falling out, but when they ride the bus, they sort of make my life a living hell because it means they occupy two seats on an already overly packed bus that could have possibly been mine. This usually means that I am left walking the green mile. The green mile consists of me drudgingly walking down the aisle of the bus, asking one student after another if I could sit down. As I walk toward the group, the twins speak to me in unison above the chattering of the other kids standing around. I wave my hand to greet them. In the same moment, I can hear the squirreling of brakes as our school bus approaches. The flashing yellow and red lights are already on as the stop sign springs out and the door opens. I watch all the other students at the bus stop climb up the steps to the bus above ahead of me, and I can only hope that there's an available seat left. If not, I will only have to hear the self absorbed, tormented pricks tell me I can't sit down, but I also have to hear them go into vivid details as to why. I swear some of the stuff they say is crazy, but somehow, excuse me, it has me questioning myself. I've heard that I'm too fat to sit down with them and that I would take up the whole seat. So now when I sit down, I try to keep my body from touching whoever I'm sitting with, which is a very difficult task because Mr. Harrison, our bus driver, drives like he's auditioning for a gig on Grand Theft Auto. I've also been told that I stink of cat liver, which is impossible to notate that I don't own any pet, let alone a cat. So I started showering in the morning usually and using some of my mom's Victoria's Secret to guarantee freshness. I always take my shower. I always took my shower at night, but maybe somehow I was secretly bottling fluids that made an odor in my sleep. Yeah, incredible, I know. But the persistent slandering of these bullies has made me take extra measures. However, I quickly learned that a fresh bath in the morning and some very good smelling perfume was not going to stop the constant belittling of these aliens dish out every morning. I call them aliens because there's no way any human could be so mean. Again, the bullying is the reason I wish the twins had rode to school with their parents. They take the little chance I had to secure a seat of my own with someone who doesn't think making someone feel lower than dirt is cool. Vic, I'll let you go now and I finish the other page at the end.
Okay, I am going. Where am I? Oh, I am going with reverse the guilty plea. And Meredith and I really know this person, that the author of this book personally, and technically this is his life story. Technically, it is, but
That's a novella.
huh?
That's a novella. It's fiction.
No, it's not really fiction.
That's it. It's a novella, Vic. It's fiction. Look on
I
the
mean,
back.
it's a novella. Okay,
Yeah,
but
it's
I said
fiction.
technically it is about his life, but it's a non
It's a novella.
novella. Okay, and this is the beginning of the beginning with the name of the household. Really, the Wilson household. Charles grew up middle class neighborhood in Canton, Mississippi, with his parents and his younger sister, Aubrey. On the school ground, everyone called him by his full name, Charles Wilson. None of the children in the neighborhood attended school with him, so he didn't have a nickname per se. But he recalls Smart Fellow calling him Buckethead on the first day of school. But luckily, the second name, the scornful name of the boy, faded into Charles' life. Charles' mother, Angus, was a household wife, very good. His father, Terry Wilson, was a breadwinner. He ran a lucrative accounting business from the home of Terry's father, Philip, who became a bookkeeper for the general merchandise store during the roaring 20s, 1920s. He remained in that profession for the rest of his life. Philip's father, Mason, a tenant farmer with a third grade education, who got deeper in debt each year. On Philip's 15th birthday, he the disgusting crop, never reviewed the disgusting crop statement, and the landowner knocked over a few stalks of corn and staring, walking up the road, carrying a few biscuits in a large paper bag. Philip spent the last 3 pennies of Palmer's general store of Houston, Mississippi, and sat in the steps of, and he cried. The store owner, Harold Palmer, overheard Philip's crying, and when Mr. Philip discovered Philip had lost most of his parents, both of his parents, and a house fire took Phillips and his first boarders, gave him a job. 5 years later, Philip rented a 3-room flat the day he became the lien holder of the full-size bed. He drove down the same road and walked up age 15, and when he turned the ignition of the Chevy truck, he was looking at his father sitting on the porch cleaning the scales off some burnt fish. And when Philip stood in the kitchen floor, his mother, Fannie Lou, was turning over some cornbread, flapjacks, and the big cast of the iron skillet. After an hour-long visit, Philip drove up a road, and when he stopped in the front of the house, his parents' front of the house, he led his parents into the new room where a pair of overalls and sundress was laying. The Sunday morning, Philip proudly introduced his parents at church, and henceforth neither ever worked another day in their lives. Once a week, Mason and Fannie, excuse me, once a week, Mason and Fannie Lou pulled out the postcards Philip had sent them during the first 5 years. They had laid them in the kitchen table and in order by date and read them as if the cards were pieced by a and the cards were particular by such of the fact that the flower of the postcards were mailed from Memphis, Tennessee. That 4 of the postcards was mailed from Memphis, Tennessee during the Thanksgiving holiday, the weekend between 1923 and 1927. Aubrey treasured Philip's meeting and took an interest in her grandfather Philip's line of work very early in life. She spent countless evenings in the office with her father. She only clung to the kitchen to lick the cake bowl, and to pinch the warm cookies while they were sitting on the cookie sheet, and while they were cooling. Other than these occasions, Aubrey was more interested in the source of the money for their household. and the room was produced for which their father, for their father's home office, excuse me, please. Aubrey was more interested in the source of the money for their household, and the room it was produced in which her father's home office, located in the east end of their house, adjoining the living room. On the other hand, Charles was interested in a good book, and the hand hesitated to drop. In a good book, the hand hesitated to drop. In the classroom looked either as an active school volunteer and a with baked cookies for the teachers meeting, PTA, holiday liberation celebration. Charles, proud of his mother for his teachers, took plenty of opportunities to give praise to Mrs. Wilson in a reference to her peanut butter and sugar drop beach cookies. The Wilsons moved to Canton from Laurel, Mississippi, when Charles was 3. He took several years of the town to grow on Angus, but once she selected the pianist for the First Presbyterian Church, when she was right at home, and she slayed negatively, and her slide was negatively remarked, and her slide negatively remarks to Terry on the city life graduously ceased. Terry favored Canton extensive because it obtained charming deal in their home. He actually bragged about the deal for 20 years. Nothing about the deal impressed Angus because she concerned herself with the bills and mortgage and home repairs. Canton, a small southern town which was incorporated in 1906, the town square was the hub of the trade and for nearly a century. During the 1950s, Angus drove his sister-in-law, Betty Jean, who could not drive and refused to try the town practically every Sunday. So the two of them called their outings a window shopping, but reality, they served lady of the church. It was Sunday school church clothes. Each local merchants were spread along the city at a Nissan plant to the town's biggest employer. The movie of The Ghost of Mississippi, which featured Whoopi Goldberg playing Merle Evers, Williams' character and district attorney, who struggled and successfully brought murderer of the late civil rights leader, Medgar Evers, to justice, was filmed in Canton. This firm increased the tourism of the region and dumped bus loads of cynicism from the critics who dubbed Canton the land of the Klan. But Canton outlived his reputation for this since elected the series of African American mayors, except for the mayor squabbling between the children of Wilson and the normal family. In fact, they were among the privileged in society, and they enjoyed American dream. I guess I could stop for this because
I,
it's not as long and big, but
I,
it's huh.
I want to tell you, we're gonna have to end. Our time is almost up. But I guess
Oh,
uh,
but this is, like I said, this is the beginning of the reverse of the guilty plea, and it tells